there BookTube, it's Janet and it's time for a book haul. The first book I've got to show you is, if you know me and my channel, I absolutely love the 44 Scotland Street series by Alexander McCall Smith. So this is the latest edition in paperback of the series, and this is the Revolving Door of Life, and they're always beautifully illustrated. And this, if you don't know this series, is set in a converted mansion in Edinburgh, and it's all about the different inhabitants of the flats in that and their friends that live around that area. And the characters are just so lovable, they're so funny, they're poignant. You have a little bit of drama, but you know that Alexander McCall Smith isn't going to hurt you. He's not going to give you anything too trying. It always works out in the end. They're just so lovable and lovely. And obviously my absolute favourite is Bertie, the little boy who has been 6 for I think the last 9 books and is desperate to be 7, and I think he's actually turned 7 in this book finally. And poor Bertie, he is such a sweet little boy, but he has the most precocious mother, Irene, who she calls it the Bertie Project, and I think the actual next book in the series is called the Bertie Project, where she insists that he goes to psychoanalysis and the flotation tank, and he's got to learn Italian and the saxophone, and you just really feel for poor Bertie. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, they always have little drawings. There's actually a little drawing of Bertie there on the back with his saxophone. So if you just want something lovely to read that's not going to challenge you too much, but it's going to give you a really lovely experience, then you can't do better than Alexander McCall Smith's 44 Scotland Street series. So I will be getting to that very soon because I love it so much. The next 4 I've got to show you are all books by Eloisa James, and this is because when Ella and I have been doing our fairy tale retelling series, when we got to Cinderella, one of the books that we read was called A Kiss at Midnight by Eloisa James, and it's it was a fairy tale retelling in Cinderella, but it was sort of a Regency period retelling, but I absolutely loved it. It wasn't twee, it wasn't saccharine. The female character in it was called Kate, who obviously was the Cinderella character, was feisty, she was stubborn, she was just so brilliant. It had quite a few steamy bits in it as well, but I just really enjoyed it. It was just an absolute romp of a book. And so I've just wanted to read more of them because it was just an absolute joy from start to finish. So she's quite a prolific writer, Eloisa James, and I'd never heard of her until we did our Cinderella retelling. But the fairy tale series that she's wrote, I think has got 9 or 12 books in it. So some I couldn't actually track down in hard copy, so I got them on my Kindle. But I've got these for in an actual paperback version. So this is called Once Upon a Flower, and this is a Regency tale, and I'll just read to you about this one. I think this is maybe a Rapunzel-esque kind of book, because this says a duke, Rhys Staunton, Duke of Kinross, values order and self-control above all else. So when he meets Lady Edie, as serene and as she is beautiful, he wastes no time in asking for her hand in marriage. His lady in a tower. Edie, who was the opposite of serene, suffered such a high fever at her debut ball that she didn't notice anyone, not even the notoriously elusive and undeniably dashing Duke of Kinross. When her father accepts the Duke's offer, it's nice that Edie has been consulted in this, Edie's true passionate nature means their marriage implodes and she retreats to a tower, locking Rhys firmly out. So this looks like a twist on Rapunzel, where she's not actually forced into the tower by anybody, she actually goes there to escape this absolute pain of a husband. So it sounds fantastic, so I can't wait to get to that one. And the next one I've got is The Ugly Duchess, and I'll tell you about this one. Theodora Saxby is the last woman anyone expects the gorgeous James Ryburn, heir to the Duchy of Ashbrook, to marry. But after a romantic proposal, even practical Theo finds herself convinced of a soon-to-be Duke's passion. Still, the tabloids give the marriage 6 months. Theo would have given it a lifetime until she discovers that James desires not her heart and certainly not her countenance but her dowry. Oh, we've all heard that one before, haven't we? Society was shocked by their wedding but scandalised by their separation. James heads out to sea where he becomes a notorious pirate, and Theo builds their estate into a flourishing concern. Back from the seas, a scandalous tattoo of poppy under one eye, James now faces the battle of his lifetime, convincing Theo that he loved the duckling who blossomed into a swan. They will quickly find that for a man with the soul of a pirate, all's fair in love or war. So that sounds really good. It sounds like an absolute romp, so looking forward to that one again. You see why I just couldn't help myself with these, can't you? The next one is When Beauty Tamed the Beast. So maybe this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Let's have a look. If only Miss Linnet Berry Thrin hadn't been caught kissing that prince. But now the Tun believes Linnet to be with royal child and therefore unmarriageable, so she might as well make her desperate father happy by consenting to wed a beast. A brilliant surgeon with a reputation for losing his temper and a wound believed to have left him incapable. Piers, Earl of Marchant, should welcome a bride-to-be carrying a ready-made blue-blooded heir. But Piers isn't fooled by the lady's subterfuge. Again, sounds like a great old romp. And then the last one I've got to show you is The Duke is Mine. And that's that one. And it says, now this has just got me straight off. Tarquin. Anybody with a name like Tarquin I want to read about. I mean, come on, Tarquin. Tarquin, the powerful Duke of Sconce, knows perfectly well that the decorous and fashionably slender Georgiana Lytton will make him a proper duchess. So why can't he stop thinking about her twin sister, the curvy, headstrong and altogether unconventional Olivia? Not only is Olivia betrothed to another man, but their improper, albeit intoxicating flirtation makes her unsuitability even clearer. Determined to make a perfect match, Tarquin methodically cuts Olivia from his thoughts, allowing logic and duty to triumph over passion, until, in his darkest hour, he begins to question whether perfection has anything to do with love. To win Olivia's hand, he would have to give up all the beliefs he holds most dear and surrender heart, body and soul, but it may already be too late. So they just sound absolutely great. Really, like, you know, lovely reads to just get the pulse racing and keep you turning the pages, so I'm really looking forward to those. And the next one I've got to show you again. I know that I'm just keep doing fairy tale after fairy tale after fairy tale, but I'm just absolutely loving it at the minute. So I think a lot of people have read this one already, and this is Lorelei by Laura Dockrill, and this is a mermaid tale, I do believe. And it says, a salty bag of birthday chips on the beach, filling new oxygen heat. A freak storm on the seafront, blowing, expanding, gulping. Sheltering under the pier, toes, feet, bones, skin. A naked girl hiding, squeeze, stretch, flex, step. Love, love. So it looks really, really good. So it may be, I'm not sure if it's actual a retelling of The Little Mermaid or inspired by it, or if it's just, you know, along those themes and things. So that sounds really good. And then the final one I've got to show you is a graphic novel, and this is Giant Days Volume 1 by Alison and Tremaine and Koga. And this, again, I was drawn in really by the cover of this. It just looks absolutely brilliant. I'll just show you some of the, and the bright palette seems to carry on inside, so this looks really good. So I'll just give you a little read of the back and see what this one says. Susan, Esther and Daisy started at university 3 weeks ago and became fast friends. Now away from home for the first time, all three want to reinvent themselves, but in the face of hand-wringing boys, personal experimentation, influenza, mystery mould, new chauvinism and the willful unwanted intrusion of academia, they may be lucky just to make it to Spring Alive. Going off to university is always a time of change and growth, but for Esther, Susan and Daisy, things are about to get a little weird. So this sounds really good, particularly as I am a parent of 2 children who will both be at university this autumn, one in 3rd year, one going for the first time. So I have maybe a different angle in reading this than maybe somebody who's a bit younger. So that's it for my book haul. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you think of them, and I will see you all soon. Keep reading. Bye.